Usually question period in the House of Commons isn't all that eventful, but today NDP MP Romeo Saganash dropped an F-bomb on Justin Trudeau. Watch.
Mr. Speaker, when the Prime Minister insists that this pipeline expansion will be done no matter what, and his minister adds that Canada will not be able to accommodate all Indigenous concerns, what that means is that they have decided to willfully violate their constitutional duties and obligations. Mr. Speaker, sounds like a most important relationship, doesn't it? Why doesn't the Prime Minister just say the truth and tell the Indigenous peoples that he doesn't give a fuck about their rights?
Damn, that was amazing. And this is not, again, this is not something that happens often or ever, but it was needed. So this whole debate was around the Trans Mountain Pipeline and how the Canadian government didn't initially do the proper consultations with Indigenous communities to be able to build this pipeline. So this pipeline that Canada now owns because they stupidly bought it, the same day that that sale went through, the courts ruled that they can't continue building this pipeline because they didn't do, or partially because they didn't do the proper consultations with Indigenous communities. So they have to reassess the whole thing, talk to Indigenous groups again, and ensure that their needs are met in order to build that pipeline. But if you know anything about Canada's history with Indigenous groups, whether it's with dirty water or missing and murdered Indigenous women, there's a whole history where the Canadian government has not treated our Indigenous people properly. And that continues today with the Trans Mountain Pipeline. Now, I guess let me show you the second half of this. So if you aren't familiar with Canadian politics, you can't just drop an F-bomb and have nothing happen. So there has to be some cleanup afterwards. So that's what this is. Watch.
The Honourable Member for Abitibi Bay James Nunavut EU is an experienced member and knows that that is unparliamentary language, and I'd ask him to withdraw the word and apologize.
Mr. Speaker, what is happening is so insulting that it makes me so angry, but I do withdraw the word. I sincerely thank the Honourable Member.
So there you go. Just some nice cleanup afterwards after dropping an F-bomb on the Prime Minister. But look, this is important. It's important to have this sort of activism within the House of Commons. If it's just outside, there's only so much pressure that outside people can do. But when you have somebody that is actually a sitting MP spotlighting this issue, and, you know, dropping an F-bomb will spotlight this issue. This is going to get coverage in Canadian media because it's not a common thing to see. So having something like this happen, having this an event like this happen, and be able to spotlight an issue like Indigenous rights or consulting Indigenous groups when it comes to building this pipeline is incredibly important. So huge shout out here to Romeo Saganash, the NDP MP that spoke truth to power in the House of Commons. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button below and consider becoming a patron at therationalnational.com/join. You get some extra content, but also, most importantly, you help support me in continuing to produce these sorts of videos.